What if I told you that everything you've ever believed about death is a lie? Hidden within the pages of an ancient mystical text lies a map, not just for what happens when we die, but for how to truly live. Are you ready to uncover the secrets that could transform your understanding of life itself? Stop everything you're doing. This could change everything you think you know about life and death. Imagine an ancient text, hidden for centuries, that holds the key to understanding what happens the moment we die. It's not just a collection of stories or theories, it's a detailed map, a guide crafted over 1,000 years ago to navigate the most profound transition we will ever face: death. This sacred text, known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, doesn't just describe the afterlife. It provides a step-by-step journey through it. It reveals hidden realms, profound truths, and the ultimate opportunities for liberation or rebirth. And here's the twist. This wisdom isn't just for the dying. It's a wake-up call for the living. What if this ancient knowledge could transform the way you approach life? What if it could help you face death without fear, and in doing so, teach you how to truly live? In this journey, we'll explore the mysteries of consciousness, uncover insights about the afterlife, and discover lessons that apply to every moment of our existence. But beware. Once you've seen this, there's no going back. The truths we're about to uncover will challenge everything you believe about life, death, and what lies beyond. Are you ready to confront the ultimate mystery? Let's dive in. Death. It's the one experience every living being shares, yet its nature remains the greatest mystery of all. Throughout human history, people have wondered, what truly happens when we die? Despite all our scientific advancements, despite mapping the human genome, exploring outer space, and understanding the origins of the universe, we are no closer to answering this question than our ancient ancestors. Even the most advanced medical technology has only provided fragments of insight, leaving the fundamental mystery of death untouched. And perhaps that's because death transcends the physical. It's not just a biological process. It's a journey of consciousness, one that science has struggled to quantify or explain. Ancient cultures, however, approached death with a sense of reverence and understanding far beyond what we see today. One of the most extraordinary examples of this wisdom comes from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a sacred text crafted over 1,000 years ago. This book isn't a simple collection of beliefs or superstitions. It's a practical guide written with the explicit purpose of navigating the process of death and what comes after. The Tibetan Book of the Dead makes a profound claim that consciousness does not end with the death of the body. Instead, it enters a transitional state, a journey through unseen realms, known in Tibetan Buddhism as the Bardos. What makes this teaching even more fascinating is how it aligns with the experiences of those who have come back from the brink of death. Modern near-death experiences often include vivid descriptions of entering a tunnel of light, encountering spiritual beings, and feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and unity. These accounts share striking similarities with the Bardos described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Both depict a journey that begins at the moment of death, offering glimpses of profound truths and opportunities for liberation. Consider this. Could these parallels be coincidence? Or do they suggest that the ancient wisdom of the Tibetan masters contains truths that modern science is only beginning to uncover? This connection between the ancient and the modern is not just a philosophical curiosity. It could fundamentally reshape the way we understand life and death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers more than just descriptions of what happens after death. It's a map, a detailed guide that helps us navigate the challenges and opportunities that arise in these transitional states. But here's the twist. These teachings aren't just for the dying. They offer profound lessons for the living as well. At its core, the Tibetan Book of the Dead reveals a simple yet powerful truth. Understanding death helps us live with greater awareness, purpose, and clarity. When we confront the mysteries of death, we are forced to reflect on what truly matters in life. This perspective encourages us to live with compassion, mindfulness, and a deeper sense of connection to the world around us. Even in the modern world, where death is often treated as a taboo subject, these ancient teachings resonate. They invite us to consider questions that most of us avoid. What happens when we die? What is the nature of consciousness? And perhaps most importantly, how can we prepare ourselves for this inevitable journey? The Tibetan Book of the Dead challenges us to see death not as an end, but as a transformation, a doorway to profound possibilities. By studying its teachings, we can begin to bridge the gap between ancient spiritual wisdom and modern explorations of the mind. As we continue this journey, we will explore the Bardos in greater detail, uncovering the hidden realms of consciousness that lie beyond life and death. These teachings could transform not only how you view death, but how you live every moment of your life. Are you ready to uncover the secrets that await? What if I told you that death isn't the end but the beginning of an extraordinary journey? According to Tibetan Buddhism, death is not a single moment but a process, a profound transition known as the Bardo. The word Bardo translates to in-between state, and it refers to the transitional stages between life, death, and rebirth. These stages, described in vivid detail in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, reveal not only what happens after we die, but also profound truths about our consciousness and its potential for liberation. The Bardo journey is divided into 3 distinct stages: the first Bardo, the second Bardo, and the third Bardo. Each stage offers unique experiences, challenges, and opportunities for spiritual awakening. The journey begins with the first Bardo, the very moment of death. As life slips away, the consciousness is freed from the constraints of the physical body and encounters what Tibetan Buddhism calls the clear light. Imagine an overwhelming brilliance, a light so pure, so radiant, that it feels as though it holds the secrets of existence itself. In this moment, Tibetan teachings suggest that the true nature of reality is revealed. The clear light represents the essence of the mind, free from all illusions. For those who have trained their minds in life through meditation and spiritual practice, this moment offers an unparalleled opportunity for ultimate liberation. By recognizing the clear light as their own true essence, they can break free from the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, achieving enlightenment. However, for most, this light can feel overwhelming, even terrifying. Without preparation, the mind may retreat, unable to recognize its own nature. This missed opportunity marks the transition to the next stage of the journey, the second Bardo. The second Bardo is often described as a realm of visions. Here, consciousness encounters extraordinary sights, peaceful and wrathful deities, brilliant lights, and vivid landscapes. But here's the twist: these aren't external beings or places. They are reflections of the mind itself, projections of one's own thoughts, emotions, and karmic imprints. The peaceful deities reflect our highest qualities: compassion, wisdom, and clarity. Their presence is serene and awe-inspiring, inviting us to recognize our own potential for enlightenment. But if the mind fails to recognize these deities as its own essence, the visions grow darker and more intense. The wrathful deities appear, fierce, terrifying manifestations of anger, fear, and attachment. These beings aren't enemies or punishers. They are mirrors of our inner world, exposing everything we've buried within ourselves. For those who can face these visions without fear, the second Bardo becomes a powerful opportunity for self-awareness and liberation. But for those unprepared, the experience can be overwhelming, pulling the consciousness further into confusion and fear. Finally, we arrive at the third Bardo, the threshold of rebirth. At this stage, the consciousness begins to seek a new physical form, drawn by the force of karma and unfulfilled desires. Imagine a formless sea where every thought, every emotion, and every karmic imprint becomes a guiding force, shaping the next life. This isn't a random process. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes this stage as one of profound creation. The consciousness is like a magnet, pulled toward a new reality that reflects the essence of its current state. Acts of kindness, wisdom, and mindfulness in life lead to brighter, more harmonious paths, while unresolved anger, attachment, and fear can lead to darker, more challenging rebirths. At this critical juncture, maintaining clarity and awareness is key. Tibetan teachings emphasize that even in this chaotic stage, it's possible to transcend the pull of karma and achieve liberation. But for most, the cycle of life and death continues, shaped by the choices and actions made in the past and the desires that still linger. The Bardo journey is not just a map for the afterlife, it's a profound reflection of life itself. Every moment of change, every period of uncertainty is a mini Bardo. The lessons of the Bardos teach us to confront our fears, recognize the projections of our own minds, and live with greater clarity and purpose. As we explore these stages, we realize that the opportunities for liberation don't only come at the moment of death. They are present in every transition, every choice, every breath we take. The Bardos remind us that death isn't just an end. It's a mirror reflecting how we live. Are you ready to take these teachings into your own life and prepare for the ultimate journey? Let's continue. The Bardos are not just stages of the afterlife. They're mirrors reflecting the transitions we face in everyday life. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that these in-between states, while deeply tied to death, also symbolize the many shifts and changes we navigate during our lifetime. Think about the challenges we face, moments of loss, uncertainty, or transformation. Whether it's the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, or the struggle to find a new direction, these are all mini Bardos. Just as the Bardos in death challenge consciousness to recognize its true nature, these life transitions push us to confront our fears, reevaluate our choices, and embrace the opportunity for growth. For example, the first Bardo, with its encounter with the clear light, reflects moments in life where we experience profound clarity or insight. These could be times of deep meditation, creative breakthroughs, or even sudden realizations brought on by crisis. The challenge is to recognize these moments for what they are, opportunities for awakening. Similarly, the second Bardo's visions of peaceful and wrathful deities mirror the emotional storms we face during life's changes. Whether we're dealing with joy or anger, hope or fear, these emotions are projections of our own minds, asking us to confront them with awareness and compassion. Finally, the third Bardo, the threshold of rebirth, reminds us of the power of our actions and intentions. Every choice we make shapes our future, just as karma shapes the next life. By living mindfully, we take control of our destiny, aligning our lives with purpose and clarity. The lessons of the Bardos teach us that transitions, no matter how painful or uncertain, are opportunities for spiritual awakening. By embracing mindfulness, meditation, and self-awareness, we can navigate these moments with grace. Life's challenges are not obstacles, they are gateways to growth. The Bardos are a reminder that every ending is a new beginning. When we approach life with this awareness, we unlock the potential for transformation, not just after death, but in every moment. In Tibetan Buddhism, preparing for death is seen not as a fearful task, but as a sacred practice, one that shapes how we live. Far from being a morbid exercise, it's a journey of empowerment, teaching us to face life and death with clarity, purpose, and compassion. One of the central practices for this preparation is mindfulness meditation. By training the mind to stay present and focused, we cultivate the awareness needed to navigate both life and death. In Tibetan teachings, this practice is a way to familiarize ourselves with the clear light, the true nature of consciousness, so that when we encounter it in the first Bardo, we recognize it as our essence rather than an overwhelming external force. Another transformative technique is Tonglen, or the practice of exchanging suffering for love. Imagine breathing in the pain and struggles of others, then exhaling compassion and healing. This powerful exercise expands the heart, dissolves self-centeredness, and helps us see the interconnectedness of all beings. In doing so, it prepares us to face the visions of the second Bardo with love and understanding, rather than fear. Mantra chanting is another vital practice. These sacred sound vibrations, repeated with intention, serve as tools for calming the mind and aligning it with higher states of awareness. Tibetan Buddhists believe that mantras act as a bridge, connecting us to the rhythms of the universe. In the chaos of the Bardos, they become an anchor, guiding the consciousness toward liberation. At the heart of these practices lies the awareness of impermanence. Recognizing that life is fleeting transforms the way we live. Each moment becomes precious, each action intentional. Instead of fearing death, we learn to see it as a natural part of existence, a transition, not an end. Preparing for death, then, is not about resignation, it's about liberation. It's about living with the kind of clarity and courage that allows us to face the unknown without fear. Tibetan teachings show us that by embracing these practices in life, we're not just preparing for death, we're transforming how we live. In Tibetan Buddhism, death is not merely the cessation of physical life. It's a profound and sacred journey, one that is deeply intertwined with the spiritual growth of the soul. This journey is guided by wisdom, compassion, and the enduring presence of a spiritual teacher, or Lama, whose role is central to helping the dying navigate the transitional stages of the Bardos. Unlike the fear and uncertainty often associated with death in modern cultures, Tibetan teachings approach this moment with clarity, intention, and reverence. At the heart of this process is the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or Bardo Thödol, a sacred text that serves as a guidebook for the soul's journey through death and beyond. The word Bardo itself means in-between state, signifying the transitional phases that the consciousness experiences after death but before rebirth. The text is more than a series of prayers or philosophical reflections. It is a practical manual designed to help the soul recognize the true nature of reality and achieve liberation. When a person nears death in Tibetan tradition, a lama or a trusted spiritual guide is called upon to assist them. This guide doesn't just offer comfort, they actively participate in the sacred process of death. The Lama takes their place by the dying person's side, reading aloud passages from the Bardo Thödol. These passages are carefully chosen to align with the stages of the journey the soul is about to embark on. The readings describe, in vivid detail, the experiences the consciousness will encounter in the Bardos, offering reminders and instructions to help the soul remain calm and aware. For instance, the text explains the clear light, the pure essence of mind that the soul encounters in the first Bardo. The Lama gently encourages the dying person to recognize this light as their own true nature, to embrace it without fear and, if possible, to merge with it in a state of ultimate liberation. This guidance is crucial because in Tibetan belief, the Bardos are moments of immense spiritual opportunity. In these transitional stages, the boundaries between life, death, and rebirth dissolve, and the soul is given a rare chance to break free from the cycle of samsara, the endless loop of birth, death, and rebirth. However, this opportunity is fleeting and can easily be missed if the soul is unprepared or overwhelmed by fear and confusion. The Lama's role extends beyond mere instruction. They act as an anchor, helping the dying person maintain focus and clarity as they face the profound and often bewildering experiences of the Bardos. In the second Bardo, for example, the consciousness encounters vivid visions, peaceful deities radiating light and compassion, as well as wrathful deities embodying fearsome and terrifying forms. These figures are not external beings, but reflections of the mind's own projections. The Lama reminds the soul that these visions are not to be feared. They are mirrors of the self, offering an opportunity for deep understanding and release from attachment. This compassionate guidance transforms the process of dying from a fearful plunge into the unknown into a meaningful and even empowering experience. By reframing death as a continuation of the soul's spiritual journey, Tibetan Buddhism provides not just hope, but a path toward liberation. The Lama's presence reassures the dying person that they are not alone, that they are being supported and guided every step of the way. The significance of these rituals lies in their profound understanding of human consciousness. Tibetan teachings emphasize that the mind, freed from the body at the moment of death, is in its most raw and vulnerable state. It is during this time that the soul has the greatest potential for transformation, but also the greatest risk of becoming lost in fear, attachment, or delusion. The Lama's voice, reciting the teachings of the Bardo Thödol, serves as a steady guide, helping the soul to remain focused and aware. These rituals also reflect the deeply interconnected nature of Tibetan spirituality. Death is not viewed as an isolated event, but as a continuation of life's spiritual journey, one that is shared and supported by the community. Families, friends, and fellow practitioners often gather around the dying person, offering prayers and performing ceremonies to create an atmosphere of peace and spiritual strength. The Bardo Thödol itself is a masterpiece of compassion and insight. Its teachings are not intended to impose fear or dogma, but to provide practical tools for navigating the most profound transition we will ever face. The text repeatedly reminds the soul to let go of fear, to embrace the experiences of the Bardos with curiosity and openness, and to recognize that all phenomena, both the serene and the terrifying, are manifestations of the mind's own nature. This approach to death stands in stark contrast to many modern practices, where death is often treated as a purely medical event, managed clinically and discussed only in hushed tones. In Tibetan Buddhism, death is a sacred moment, an opportunity for growth and liberation that deserves as much preparation and attention as any other major event in life. Imagine how our perspective on death might change if we adopted even a fraction of this approach. Instead of seeing death as something to fear, we might view it as a profound opportunity for understanding, connection, and transformation. The guidance of a Lama and the teachings of the Bardo Thödol show us that death is not an end, but a threshold, a doorway to a deeper reality. For those of us living in the modern world, these teachings offer more than just a framework for the afterlife. They provide profound insights into how we can approach life itself. By recognizing the transient nature of all things, we are reminded to live with greater awareness, compassion, and purpose. The rituals surrounding death in Tibetan Buddhism teach us to face uncertainty with courage, to confront our fears, and to embrace the mystery of existence with an open heart. Ultimately, the role of guides and sacred rituals in Tibetan Buddhism is about more than just preparing for death. It's about creating a culture of mindfulness, compassion, and interconnectedness, qualities that not only help us navigate the Bardos, but also transform the way we live our lives. Imagine the peace of knowing that when the time comes, you will be surrounded by love, wisdom, and guidance. Imagine facing the unknown, not with fear, but with trust in the teachings that have been passed down through generations. This is the gift of the Bardo Thödol, and it's a gift that reminds us that every moment, even the moment of death, is an opportunity for awakening. In recent years, modern science has started to explore questions that have long been the domain of spiritual traditions. What is consciousness? Does it continue after death? And if so, what does that mean for how we live our lives? The Tibetan Book of the Dead, written over 1,000 years ago, offers profound insights into these questions. It describes the continuation of consciousness after death and the transitional stages the mind experiences. What's remarkable is how these teachings align with modern research into near-death experiences. Many individuals revived after clinical death report encounters with bright lights, peaceful beings, and profound feelings of unity, experiences that closely mirror the Bardos described in Tibetan Buddhism. Scientists and philosophers are increasingly intrigued by these parallels. Studies in consciousness suggest that the mind may not be entirely tied to the physical brain. The concept of a non-local consciousness, one that exists beyond the body, resonates with the Tibetan idea of the clear light and the journey of the soul after death. This intersection of science and spirituality is reshaping how we understand life and death. It challenges the materialist view that consciousness ends with the body and opens the door to new perspectives on the nature of existence. By bridging ancient wisdom and modern research, we gain a deeper appreciation for the mysteries of consciousness. The Tibetan teachings remind us that death is not just an end, but an opportunity for transformation, one that has implications for how we live now. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is far more than a guide for the dying. It's a profound roadmap for how to live. Its teachings remind us that life and death are deeply interconnected. By preparing for death, we unlock the tools to live with clarity, purpose, and courage. Imagine facing each day with the awareness that life is fleeting, that every breath and every choice matters. This perspective shifts our priorities, deepens our relationships, and helps us live in alignment with what truly matters. The Tibetan teachings on the Bardos encourage us to confront the unknown, not with fear, but with a sense of curiosity and readiness. As we've explored, these lessons are not reserved for monks or mystics. They are accessible to anyone willing to look inward and embrace the challenges of life's transitions. Death, far from being something to fear, becomes a teacher, a mirror reflecting how we live. So, ask yourself, what changes can you make in your life today to prepare for this ultimate journey? How can you live more mindfully, more purposefully, and with greater compassion? As you reflect on these questions, consider this your invitation to dive deeper into the mysteries of life, death, and consciousness. The wisdom of the Tibetan Book of the Dead is a reminder that every moment is an opportunity for awakening. Are you ready to embrace this journey? Let us know your thoughts and the questions that inspire you. Together, we'll continue to explore the mysteries that shape our existence.